As always, we have a lot to talk about with my panelists here in studio. High Court judges Aggrey Muchelule and Said Chitembo arrested last week, causing a lot of friction again between the judiciary and the executive. The Chief Justice, Martha Koome, protesting against that move. We'll get into that. Was it done in the proper way? We also get into politics with Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka again. Not sure whether what will be happening in the 2022 presidential election. Will they go it together again? Is the Raila-Kalonzo presidential ticket viable? This is happening as Wiper threatens to pull out of the National Super Alliance permanently. But this, again, was put on the ice following a meeting, we understand, between the two political leaders. We also talk about what's happening in terms of election funding. Right now, politicians trying to position themselves and look for funds. Billions of shillings, tens of billions of shillings spent every election cycle, especially for the presidential campaigns. Where does this money come from? Is it this obscene kind of spending of money? Does it affect the quality of political leadership that we have? We'll get into that as the Election Funding Capping Act is set to take effect ahead of the 2022 general election. Thank you for staying with us. Stick with us for the next 120 minutes as we try to get into these issues. Before I introduce my panelists, let me get into that. A meeting by ODM leader Raila Odinga and his Wiper counterpart Kalonzo Musyoka has sparked political outrage between leaders allied to the two after reports emerged that the two could be planning to reunite to bolster their 2022 race to State House. Details of the meeting held by the Odinga and Kalonzo team, the two remain scanty, but sources say Wiper Party was poised to exit from the NASA coalition and has suspended that move, at least for now, after intervention by Odinga. So, is Kalonzo Musyoka planning to support Raila Odinga for a third time? Let's get more from KTN's Daniel Kariuki.
Kalonzo Musyoka is a man under siege, if the last few days is anything to go by. The Wiper Party leader met ODM leader Raila Odinga Thursday, with the agenda being the sharing of political parties' funds. Details have emerged that the Wiper Party has agreed to give dialogue a chance before withdrawing from NASA. Sources close to KTN have hinted that ODM leader Raila Odinga is in the process of convincing Kalonzo not to back out of NASA, but instead hammer a fresh deal with Kalonzo for next year's presidential race.
Support Raila Odinga for the third time. Here atafanya tu one term. I've heard this story before.
But Kalonzo Musyoka's close allies have rubbished reports that the two could work together again, with Makueni MP Dan Manzo saying there is no such plans.
Obviously, you cannot do one thing at the same time and expect different results. So we cannot do it a third time and expect Raila Odinga to win.
There cannot be any doubt about our resolve to have a new alliance for the 2022 elections. That alliance is One Kenya Alliance.
Insiders in Wiper Party say it will be in order to strategize early enough, and one of it is to stick to NASA, as Okoa Kenya coalition is yet to fully take shape, threatening the Okoa Kenya unity. But Kitui Senator Enoch Wambua has trashed these sentiments, saying the decision to leave NASA is solid and final.
Wiper is scheduled to officially withdraw on Monday. The meeting called, NEC is called on Monday to ratify the withdrawal of Wiper from NASA.
NASA is part of our history, and we are only waiting to settle the matters of accountability and the questions of the political party funds.
A notification of death has been given to the registrar of political parties. What we are waiting is processing of a death certificate of NASA as a coalition.
President Uhuru Kenyatta during Ukambani tour hinted on Odinga and Kalonzo unity ahead of the next polls.
Raila akiongea unasikia anasema infrastructure, infrastructure, infrastructure. Anaelewa ni nini inatakikana. Ukisikia Kalonzo akisema ni hiyo, anaelewa ni nini inatakikana. Sio tu kuongea.
NASA affiliate parties among the ANC have however said if Kalonzo and Odinga unite, Mudavadi will not back down from the race.
Pia sisi leo kama parliamentary group tumempatia yeye mamlaka kwamba ajiondoe kabisa katika hiyo mrengo ya NASA.
Wakati huu sisi hatuendi kwa coalition ambayo Musalia ni second fiddle. Tukienda coalition, Musalia na namba 1 kwa hiyo coalition. Tusipoenda kwa coalition, si tuko na chama.
Kalonzo has partnered with Odinga in 2 general elections, 2013 and 2017, and had in 2017 maintained he was not going to back Odinga, only for him to retract his sentiments.
I, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, do not want to be called a watermelon again. Si afadhali wengine waige mfano ambao mimi mwenyewe nimeonyesha kutokuwa na binafsi.
ANC party NEC met this week and ratified divorce from NASA. It now remains to be seen which other affiliate parties will follow suit in the coming days. Daniel Kariuki, KTN News.
All right, so which way Kalonzo Musyoka and Raila Odinga? That's what we want to get into for the next 20 minutes or so. In studio with me, I have with me lawyer and political analyst Ishmael Nyaribo, political analyst, political editor here at the Standard Group, Roslyn Obala, communication strategist Mark Bichachi, and lawyer Kenneth Chesa. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me. Let me start with you, Bwana Wakili. Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, they've done it twice. Same presidential ticket. One Kenya Alliance seems to have made things a bit difficult for all camps, really. Is that why we are seeing this running around by all these people?
I think, Ben, One Kenya Alliance is overrated. In my opinion, One Kenya Alliance is a misnomer. There's nothing like One Kenya Alliance. One, there can be no alliance if the parties are still in active alliances. We have the NASA Alliance. The parties purporting to have formed One Kenya Alliance are yet to pull out of NASA Alliance. KANU has made it very clear that it will not leave the Jubilee Alliance. Kalonzo is also making it very clear through his sign language that he is not leaving NASA. The only partner in the so-called One Kenya Alliance who has ratified the decision to move out of NASA is Musalia Mudavadi. So, in my opinion, we can't talk about an non-existent entity called One Kenya Alliance.
Right.
It will remain with Musalia Mudavadi. The rest of the partners will still go to NASA.
So for NASA to be dissolved, 3 political parties have to move out. Kalonzo's wiper are saying they will move out. They want to move out permanently now. What is your take on the Raila-Kalonzo bromance, political bromance?
I think Raila and Kalonzo are getting convinced that 2022, their joint ticket is the best ticket to humble William Ruto. And to an extent, that is true. If you see the president's body language, he has been struggling to bring together Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka on a joint presidential ticket to face William Ruto. And the relevance, as my brother Mark had mentioned informally, the relevance of One Kenya Alliance or any of their partners lies in the absence of Raila's name on the ballot. If Raila's name is still on the ballot, the One Kenya Alliance candidate will come a distant third after Raila Odinga and William Ruto. So Kalonzo and Raila's ticket is the ticket to beat in 2022.
All right. What is your take on this, Mark Bichache? Why does Raila Odinga need Kalonzo so much? And Kalonzo Musyoka has said he will not support Raila for a 3rd time. So how does it work out?
Ben, it's been demonstrated 2 elections now that Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka can muster up to 46% of the vote. The magic of the handshake was supposed to bring about the addition of the magical 4% and 1 vote to ensure that they win. Now, this is a formula that works. And I know a lot of people would argue and say that because they've run before, they should not run again. Then those people should be told that Manchester United and Arsenal, who sometimes have come second many times, should stop being football clubs. This is not the nature of competition. If you are going to bet on a horse, even in an MP race, in the next election, choose the guy who was number 2 in the previous election. But what is telling most, Ben, is the fact that everyone except none in the One Kenya Alliance is focused on one message. Raila Odinga should not run again, because they understand that their fortunes are intrinsically tied with Raila Odinga hanging up his boots and saying he's not running again. This basically reminds me of the young men and women who live in various estates, not doing any work, waiting for their parents to pass on so that they can inherit the estate. This is young men and women hoping for the political demise of Raila Odinga so that they can pick up his fortunes. Now, their best option is to pray that Raila Odinga is feeling magnanimous enough to say so-and-so tosha, and then they should hope that it is them. Because who knows, he could just decide to revive Muhisa Kichui's career. So let them not be so sure that it could be them.
All right. Rosalind, what gives here for both Raila Odinga, who, as far as we know, he hasn't even mentioned if he'll be running for the top job in 2022, but if he is to run, what gives for him and for Kalonzo?
Ben, if you look at the political dynamics currently, we are still in limbo as concerns the BBI process. And then with the Kenyan politics, 1 year to elections is a long time in Kenyan politics. So we wouldn't say that as per now we can be very sure on how the alliances will pan out. But if you followed what has been happening lately, and the members of Okoa Kenya, that is OKA, not Okoa Kenya, OKA, the One Kenya Alliance, you see all of them are saying as much as they want to come together, there is no legal entity that they can enter into currently, because all of them are in a legal entity in another alliance. Now, when you look at Wiper and ODM, they are still in NASA. The same, if you look at KANU, they are still in a post-election pact with Jubilee that is also planning to join with ODM. So if you look at all this, then the first step they need to do is, are they going to divorce themselves and dissolve the alliance that they had deposited at the registrar? Now, that alliance was supposed to end at the next election, that is 2022. So are they ready to break it now? Now, if you look again at the dynamics that we had in 2013 and 2017, we had a clear candidate from Central Kenya, which amasses the majority vote. In 2017, we had an incumbent defending his seat. So it was a clear vision that they were facing the incumbent and his running mate. Now, here is a case where we are facing a scenario where the incumbent is going home. And his backyard, we are not sure if they will actually rally behind their own or they will support a candidate outside Central Kenya. So when you look at all these dynamics, then you can't still say that Kalonzo is a sure bet for Raila. When he came in 2013 and the rest, the votes that we were getting from Ukambani were 800. Now, if you look at the registered voters now in Ukambani, they're 1.5. Maybe in the next 2 months registration, they might hit 2 million. That is a vote you cannot ignore. But now, which is the best matrix for whoever will be running for presidency to amass that big vote block?
Okay.
Yeah.
But Wakili, it would seem that for Raila Odinga, if he is to run and he is not going to entertain the One Kenya Alliance, it looks like he has to cherry pick one of the political figureheads in One Kenya Alliance. Is Kalonzo Musyoka the best bet for him? Is Musalia Mudavadi the best bet for him? Or can he access their political backyards without one of them?
Ben, thank you for welcoming me back. I don't know whether it is true that he is limited to Kalonzo Musyoka, because now we've started seeing the likes of Jimmy Wanjigi saying they want to come up and also represent the bigger political bloc.
Somebody said that you shouldn't bring Jimmy Wanjigi into a serious political discussion for presidential
like my sister
I don't know
said,
if that's true.
Like my sister said, this is Kenya, and 1 year is really a big opportunity, you know, for anybody to turn around, you know, figures.
Okay.
But you talk about the honorable former Kiambu Governor, Kabogo, Peter Munya. You know, there are still people I think that the honorable former Prime Minister can choose from. Right. But if you ask me, Kalonzo is a critical figure, because you see the Kamba seem to coalesce together and come. Either if they fight between Charity Ngilu and Kalonzo Musyoka, they quickly, you know, finalize their issues and fights, you know, in fightings, and they come together. This is so different when you look at Western Kenya. Just recently, Mugisa Kitui has come from the World Trade Organization and said, I am just going to be, you know, I'm going to compete. Then there is Wetangula. Then now there is Moses Mudavadi. If you look at what Moses Mudavadi got last... Musalia Mudavadi, I apologize. Remembering his father, who I know. Sorry for that. If you look at Musalia Mudavadi, I mean, he got about 500 votes, 500,000 votes in the last elections as presidential candidate. So, Kalonzo Musyoka is attractive to any party because he seems to agree, he seems to be amiable, and even if people fight him and he fights others, they seem to, finish up their fights quickly, which is not happening in Western Kenya, which I think makes Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta and any other serious political, analysts like us to look at Western now as a disintegrated, vote bloc, which I think does not worry Honorable Raila Odinga a lot. And lastly, Ben, I am very sure, in my little knowledge, that the Kalonzo Musyoka, Musalia Mudavadi, and all these people, Gideon Moi, will unite behind Raila Odinga at the end of the day.
All right.
Ben, if you'd allow me, there's one other factor we've not considered, and that's probably also going to be covered in the topic that's coming next. It is very expensive to run for president. The problem that One Kenya Alliance also faces, except for one member of them, the other three, if they are given the presidential ticket, they would still need Raila's endorsement and Raila's money. If they take that position, they have no capacity to run for that office. So I do not know under which financial delusion they are under to imagine that they can buy themselves, muster enough currency to be able to back a presidential run. In fact, in the One Kenya Alliance, the one who said he's not running for office is the only one with money to do it. The rest of them should queue if they want to run independently for governor position, senator. Hapo ndo wanaweza afford. Hizo zingine no. It's the truth.
All right, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Bwana Wakili, tell me this.
Yes.
There are people who say that Raila Odinga already has access to Western Kenya, even without Musalia Mudavadi. And that is why he would be focusing a lot of energies on Kalonzo Musyoka, because he says he already has Western Kenya vote. Do you agree with that?
I partly agree with this belief that Raila Odinga has some part of Western Kenya vote. One, the Western Kenya vote is disintegrated. It is not in one basket, and that has been the major undoing of the Mlembe nation. Looking at Western Kenya, from Vihiga, where the ANC leader comes from, Raila Odinga will always go home with one parliamentary seat called Luanda. Because even the Luyas in Luanda speak the Luo. They have been socialized into being part and parcel of the Luo political establishment. When you go to Busia, Busia has been an orange zone from 2007. It's only in 2017 when ANC made serious penetration. But we have places like Budalangi, places like Funyula, that you will not sell any Luya political outfit or agenda. Come in Kakamega, we have the North Kakamega, Butere, Huisero in Mumias West. Where I come from, I have my relatives who cannot speak Wanga language. They speak the Luo, and they were born in Wanga. So those are people who are in Luo political establishment. And that is why Kalonzo Musyoka becomes more attractive to Raila Odinga than Musalia Mudavadi. Because Raila will still penetrate Western Kenya through the avenues that I have mentioned and get a sizable number of votes. He defeated Musalia in 2013 in Western Kenya for that record. He's only in Malava constituency, and we thank Kabras for this, who stood with Musalia to the man.
All right. Have the final word on this, Roslyn. What does Kalonzo Musyoka and Wiper do? When you talk to the likes of Mutula Kilonzo Jr., they say NASA is the past. Do they really believe what they're saying? What options do they have?
Actually, Ben, I think they believe, because if you look at the invite that was sent by the executive director yesterday to the members, they're actually having a joint executive council meeting tomorrow, as well as the parliamentary group meeting. Now, this meeting was supposed to take place on Friday, as per the membership of the party, and they put it on hold after Raila had reached to Kalonzo to unlock the stalemate of the political parties fund. So the fact that now they are going ahead with that meeting on Monday means that actually they mean what they are saying, because in the past we have said that they only say it but they don't act. So we saw on Thursday ANC meeting the parliamentary team, and it was not to endorse or to reject the resolutions because ANC Council had actually approved the divorce with NASA. Right. And now we are also seeing Wiper meeting on Monday. So now only the party that remains that is also having its own internal leadership wars is Ford Kenya, because apart from Musalia's wing, yes, there is a wing of Wafula Munyinyi and Eseli who are also claiming pie to the leadership of the party. So I think that is the party that is still having issues. That said, Ben, I think that going forward, everything is not lost. The leadership can endorse, but it still boils down to the principles. Will they now go to the registrar of political parties and officially now initiate the divorce? That is up to us to say. But remember that divorce will come with casualties. If you come to parliament, the leadership of the house has actually been earned based on the alliances that they were hooked to. So with that, we will see people lose their seats in the National Assembly. Maybe those who will survive are those who sit in the Parliamentary Service Commission, because they were actually voted by members, right, and to remove them, you have to again seek the nod of the House.
All right.
Then you must remember that all this realignment is not a benefit for William Ruto. There are people who are making this confusion. I mean, all these realignments would still be that, I mean, because they are trying to get a new outfit, yes, for 2022. And even if there's a divorce from NASA right now, yeah, the same gentleman could meet up towards 2022 right, into one ticket.
We'll continue this discussion after this quick commercial break here on Inside Politics. We'll get into the issue of election funding. Mark Bichachi has said that very few of these guys who are saying they want to run for president can actually afford it. We'll get into that shortly. Stay with us.